This is Jason with Chicago News, and this week we're testing out the all-new 2017 Cadillac XT5. The XT5 replaces the previous generation, which was the SRX version, and this is a much nicer looking vehicle. It gets a lot of the styling cues from Cadillac's current design language, this beautiful grille, headlights. Overall, it's a great looking SUV. Cadillac has had 3.6 liter V6s for quite some time, but this is a brand new one that they just designed back in 2015. Now this engine, while more companies are doing turbocharged small displacement engines, Cadillac has invested in this 3.6 liter. It's interesting that Cadillac has spent time and money developing a brand new normally aspirated engine in these days where everything is turbocharged, but this shows that they're committed to keeping higher displacement, normally aspirated engines, which, you know, do have a certain feel that you don't get in the smaller engines. Even though this is the only engine available in the XT5, Cadillac obviously does have a 2-liter turbo. We wouldn't be surprised to see it show up someday right here. Finally spring here in Chicago, and while we're really excited that we can stand outside and talk about the car, the flies are out, so we're gonna hop in and see how this thing drives. The first thing we're struck by getting into this XT5 is just how beautiful some of the finishes are. On the top of the dash, there's this beautiful carbon fiber inset on the steering wheel and the dashboard, these aluminum parts. It's really a beautiful interior, and again, the seats really show that Cadillac design with the V kind of stitched into them. But it kind of falls apart a little bit. The bottom of these door panels is a kind of a cheap plastic. It just kind of lacks some follow through. Obviously, to make it so that it didn't cost them a ton, they saved a little money here. But the problem is that this is a $70,000 SUV, so you really wish that they would carry it through all the way. But you know what? If you don't look at the bottom of the door panel, this is a beautiful interior. The ride of this XT5 is really fantastic as well. We've done a really good job tuning this for comfort. As far as handling goes, you know, it's competent. It's not going to be the sportiest. There's definitely more sporting SUVs out there that are available, but this gives you more of the Cadillac experience, I think, that you're looking for. 310 horsepower out of this new 6-cylinder, and it doesn't really feel that snappy. There's an 8-speed automatic transmission, so it should have plenty of gears to choose from, but you know, this is a big, heavy vehicle with lots of features, and it really doesn't feel like quite enough power. One of the things you get with some of the smaller displacement turbo engines is a bit of a buzzy feeling when you're driving the car, especially when you're accelerating hard, but this V6 has a smoother sound, and it's something we really appreciate. Really great feature is this rear view mirror. Instead of being a mirror glass, this is actually a camera, and it can even use multiple cameras around the vehicle to create a composite. When you're on the freeway, for example, it'll show you all the lanes. If it's 3 lanes, it'll show you all 3 of them. It gives you a much wider view than you would ever get with a standard mirror. During the night, it doesn't work quite as well, but you can just flip this down and it turns it back into a normal mirror. So there have been lots of complaints about Cadillac's Q system, and it still is a little fidgety here. They've actually changed some of these buttons so that there's an actual tactile feel, and I think that may be because they've gotten complaints about these touchscreen buttons that are all around here. Still can't see the buttons. It's just a shiny faceplate, and you touch the actual icon that you want to use. This shifter is not particularly easy to use. You've got the park button on the top, and then you've got the shift action button on the side here, but you have to go forward and over for reverse. And it's really tricky to hold the button on this side and then come forward and over. So again, car companies seem to be really trying to overthink the shifters. Not sure where this is all coming from. The old style shifter was a lot easier to deal with. One of the other things you get here is Cadillac's great heads-up display. It's one of the clearest and brightest heads-up displays. It'll display speed, RPMs, it'll even display the radio and give you a lot of the safety features, warnings. Really bright overall display and really easy and convenient. And it's actually a really great safety feature to help you keep your eyes on the road. And speaking of safety features, this has a full suite of active safety features. There's lane assist, automatic braking, there's blind spot monitor, rear cross traffic alert, pretty much everything runs the gamut, and Cadillac does a really good job with their systems. We've had this issue with other Cadillacs as well, where we think that the rubber that is around the port here to support the phone is a little too thick and keeps the charging surface from getting close enough and making good contact. So definitely a great feature, but it could work a lot better. We just actually got to use the Pedestrian Alert, which again, these safety technologies are just getting more and more incredible. We're just driving down the street and somebody was getting into a car, and it gives you in the heads up and in the center display an alert, an icon for pedestrian. It just gives you the word pedestrian. So if you didn't notice them at first, the car will give you a reminder and it actually dings. So you're might be wondering what the ding was for. You look down, you see it, and it's an extra safety feature. One of the things we love about Cadillac's systems when it comes to automatic braking and some of the parking assist features, instead of having an annoying beep, it's got a seat vibrator, so it'll actually shake the seat to notify you that you're coming too close to a car you're parking. And if you are going too quickly and you're going to hit the curb, let's say when you're backing into a spot, it'll actually stop the car for you, short of making contact. The rear seats have a great 40-20-40 split fold down, which works much better than the standard 60-40. So if you have one narrow long item, you can put down the center of the seats and you can carry that. And the two side parts are actually adjustable. They recline and they slide forward and backwards, so extra comfort for the rear seat passengers. As far as efficiency goes, this new 6-cylinder is direct injected. It has variable valve timing. And it also has Cadillac's cylinder drop feature. So you're driving along and accelerating, it'll be a 6-cylinder, and then you have a little indicator on the dashboard that when you're coasting, it'll switch to a 4-cylinder to try to save fuel. We're averaging over 20 miles per gallon, which for the size of vehicle and the fact that this is a normally aspirated engine is really great efficiency. There's a huge panoramic roof here, which is fantastic, especially on a spring day like this. Really lets a lot of light in. It makes a big difference. The smaller sunroofs really don't do much, but something like this really changes the feel of the interior. One of the great features here are the automatic wipers. A lot of times they just don't work that well. A lot of cars have these, especially luxury cars like this, but these tend to work really well. In fact, they're on right now. It's a sunny day, but if a truck were to splash some water or something like that, it would immediately kick in and clear the window off. So really well designed, well engineered feature. There's lots of technology packed in here. In addition to all the safety features, you've got great entertainment features. There's a really nice sounding Bose stereo system, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto integration, but you also have the OnStar system, which is a 4G hotspot, so someone can work with a laptop via Wi-Fi as you're driving along. The other great thing about the OnStar though is if anything happens, if there's a collision or something like that, you can immediately get assistance, and it tracks the location of the car, which is also helpful if someone decides to steal it. It can be retrieved because it's being tracked. So really great all-around feature. There's a mode switch here on the center console. It gives you the choice between touring, all-wheel drive, and sport mode. We're going to try out the all-wheel drive mode here, even though we don't really need it, just to see if it makes a difference in the driving. Doesn't make a big difference. You can feel it's taking a little of the power away, but overall, having the capability to switch between two-wheel drive, all-wheel drive really easily like this is a great feature. One of the things you get in some of the top-of-the-line models of the XT5 is this configurable LCD display here. There's actually only a couple themes to choose from, but the one theme that we didn't like has lots of different gauges. It actually looks like a truck display, so we've chosen the one here that looks a little more standard. It has a compass. It's kind of neat to be able to switch them, but again, it's kind of strange to have LCD gauges between two regular analog gauges. So what do we think of this 2017 Cadillac XT5? Well, it's a really comfortable vehicle, and again, that's what you want from a Cadillac. So we give it high marks there. Really appreciate the V6 engine instead of a buzzy 2-liter. But overall, this is a really expensive vehicle, and it's a really crowded class of SUVs to choose from. So if you're looking for comfort, this is definitely the one for you. If you're looking for performance, there might be better choices out there. But as far as mid-size SUVs go, this is a fantastic option.